All right, welcome into Chalk Talk Social. It is Wednesday, November 5th, not our normal recording day. We had to push it back because someone in this group here had to go to Mexico for a wedding and acquire food poisoning. That was great. Hey, still wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. That sucks. Those are bad nights, really bad nights, and it forced me to have to miss the back half of a fun wedding. So that really sucked. It picked a perfect time to kick in and kick me straight in the gut. Yeah. So that was the end of my long trip away. I was in Florida, hit Cancun. But Iman, how are you doing? What's going on?
All right, you already know what it is. I'm about my money. I'm about my biz. You know it's me. When you hear that, there it is. Hey, listen, Austin. At least you got an easy, slim, quick, diet. Like that's the fastest
way to stay in shape.
10 pounds. Yeah, that's the fastest way to lose 10 pounds, 12 pounds. So now you might got your abs showing or something, man. But hey, listen, what a week. Y'all see I got my Dodgers blue on. No, I'm not a Dodgers fan, but hey, why not rep for LA West Side? This is a Mike Piazza jersey. So, you know, listen, last week you spoke about it. I'll admit that's probably the greatest World Series that I laid my two eyes on. I'm not saying y'all, but I laid my two eyes on. So you were right. We was also right about a few other things, and kind of we be jinxing these Heisman guys. Every time we speak about a guy, I'm telling you, go back and look at the shows. Every time we hype a Heisman guy, that game that Saturday they lose.
Yeah, I mean, he still played well though. I mean,
awesome. He killed.
What do we say? We say you take him out of that team, you take him off of Georgia Tech. That is a losing football team. So they kind of got smoked in the college football in the rankings this week. I think they're down to 17 now or something. After they were at number 7, they get their first loss of the season, got smoked. But and again, they haven't played good teams this year. Their good games are going to come later this year against Pitt. Is still whatever, but then Georgia. And so I understand the slide, despite having a guy playing out his skull for the Heisman stuff right now. But yeah, man, being in Cancun, they had one sports bar on the resort and it was packed for Game 7.
Yeah,
it was all these Blue Jay fans too, like no Dodger fan, just Blue Jays fans, just packing up this big random bar at a resort in Cancun. Everyone was there to the end, and I don't think you could ask for a better Game 7. I don't think there's been. Can you say there's been a better Game 7? I mean, you've seen a lot, but
yeah, no, I haven't. I mean, no. I was on the edge of my seat, just play after play. So that was a good one. Before we get to the sports too, Austin, you're not married, are you? You got your girl, don't you?
Yeah, we got
Yeah. How is that going to weddings when you got your girl? Because you always get that extra nudge when you go to a wedding and she's loving the because it makes everybody feel good when you get to a wedding. It makes everybody kind of say, hey, well, when my ring come in and where we going to have our wedding at?
Thankfully, I don't have to go through that anymore. Okay. We had our own, honestly, and hey, I'm not gonna lie, our wedding got a lot of great feedback on the dance floor, and that is all that truly matters. We were busting. Her and I were both elevated up in the chairs, getting carried around the dance floor at one point, which crazy to think. I'm no light gentleman. I'm a healthy 215 on a normal day, so we were up there, and that was a good time. We had the glow sticks out, but yeah, she was kind because, like I said, I got kicked in the guts as the good stuff was happening, and I had to leave before any dancing and anything. Oh yeah, and I'm telling you, this place that the wedding was held at was the opposite end of the resort. It was a long walk back, and hey, I'll say, returning to the room was perfectly timed. That's all I'm gonna say.
Man, you probably had your suit on. Goodness freaking grief! It was good, though.
Oh, I stripped down to the nothings as soon as I walked into the room. I was out of it all. I was over the toilet.
Damn.
But it was still a good time. Obviously, can't complain. The thing that sucks is you go from beautiful weather, beach, friends, pools, all the good drinks, just watered down rum and cokes all night long, all day long. And then you get right back into Seattle and it's 40 degrees, gray, rainy, and it's just so polar opposite. It's dark at 5 o'clock. It's just because they don't do the time change down there either. So like everything was just all out of wax. Wow. I wasn't my best self today either, but no, it was still a good time. Good to see folks. But
we back at it.
Now we back at it. So I apologize that we had to miss yesterday and move it back, but we're still going to have the episode come out on Friday too. So nothing changes there. We're lining up hopefully a few people to come on, not just one fan. Hopefully we get at least 2 to come on would be great, but maybe just one. We'll see. But per always on a normal Tuesday episode, but today it's actually a Wednesday episode. Let me actually turn something off quick. All right. On a Wednesday episode, we're going to start in the top 10 and 10. Some of these things are a little dated now, so just bear with us. The one thing that's not, and so we kind of mix in some modern stuff because we just had the trade deadline, so we're going to mix that stuff in there. Not our normal, just strictly the weekend kind of update, but, last couple of days. Let's get into it. The top 10 and 10 from the weekend / early week. We got to start number 1. The NFL trade deadline pops off in a big way. It is come and gone now, fresh off the press. The Dallas Cowboys, that shitty defense, make some moves. Quinnen Williams and Logan Wilson head to the Cowboys to kind of bolster some needs on their defense. Sauce Gardner goes to the Colts, so the Jets completely sell out their defense. Rashid Shaheed to the Seahawks, so Seahawks bolstering a really talented pass offense. Jacoby Myers to the Jags was kind of a surprise. I wasn't really sure the Jags were going to be in the mix for him. Maybe the Bills or some other teams. But he lands there. Jalen Phillips, like a surprising, only Dolphin to get traded was Jalen Phillips. He goes to the Eagles to help their pass rush out. And your Ravens, it's Draymond Jones. He's nothing like crazy special, but he's got 4.5. He's doing really well lately. I think he had 4.5 sacks in October. That's nothing to just swastika at. And y'all needed that D-line. You and Butter said it both. Need a little bit of D-line help, and they get it. So I think that was a under-the-radar move for the Ravens. That kind of recaps the biggest moves from the trade deadline. We'll get into winners and losers later in the episode. What's next?
All right, number 2, what an epic World Series. Dodgers capture their second World Series in 2 years with an epic comeback win in Game 7 where Miguel Rojas was in tears after the game because he had a tying home run in the 9th. And then once in extra innings, Will Smith had a go-ahead hit in the 11th. And, man, what a series where you had defense, you had pitching. Not only this, and this is weird, I seen this. The last 5 World Series wins had a Will Smith on their team. Go look at it. The pitcher that was on Houston, he was on Houston year. Then it was on then he was on Atlanta, and then the other 3 is the Will Smith this time. So the past 5 World Series have been won with somebody with name Will Smith on the team. So hey, if you're a major league team, go get you Will Smith next year, and maybe you come World Series champions. Dodgers, West Side!
And keep his wife's name out your damn mouth. Next up, we got one of the best non-divisional rivalries in football since 2020. Going at it again, the Bills and Chiefs, and the Bills stay hot in the regular season against the Chiefs. They win 28-21. And again, you want to talk yet again about some AFC champ preview hype. This game took in nearly 31 million viewers, the most watched Week 9 game on CBS since 2007. I think it peaked with 35 million viewers at one point, but they were consistently holding 31 million viewers this whole game. So crazy game. The Bills have actually, despite their struggles on defense, have defeated the Ravens with a healthy Lamar, and now they just defeated the Chiefs, who are healthy, and they've been hitting their stride on offense with everyone back now. So they're playing their best football, and the Bills took care of them, surprisingly. And it's crazy when you consider Josh Allen versus the Chiefs in the regular season versus the postseason. He now moves to, I think he's 4-1 with 296 yards per game with 25.8 points per game against them in the postseason, 0-4. 327 total yards per game and 28.3 points a game. He might be 5-1 in the regular season now. I can't remember if that's accurate or not, so my bad if that's one game off, but big discrepancy again. And the point is, he beats him in the regular season, cannot get over the hump in the postseason. And that Bills defense, which has allowed 20.8 points per game versus the Chiefs in the regular season, has allowed 35 in the playoffs to them. So, hey, they dominated Mahomes this time. He didn't throw a single touchdown, and you bet they wish that this was in the playoffs. What's next?
Number 4, my guy, J.J. McCarthy, on his first game back. His Minnesota Vikings upset maybe the best team in the NFC right now, the Detroit Lions, 27-24. And yes, J.J. McCarthy doesn't always have these gaudy numbers, but somehow, some way, he makes the big throw. He makes the big play with his feet, going 14 for 25, 143 yards, 2 touchdowns. And like I said, he made a couple big plays with his feet, running touchdown. And also, you want to give a shout to the Vikings defense by holding the Detroit Lions with a prolific offense. They made stops when stops was needed. And the one thing, JJ McCarthy doesn't get his respect as he's a winner. From IMG in high school to Michigan and college to now, he's clearly a winner. Right now, he's 2-0 versus NFC North teams. Guess what your boy, the most talented #1 pick, Caleb Williams, in that division? 1-7 in 8 games. So one thing JJ can do is win games. Listen, you make me look bad because I talk about you, but your throwing numbers ain't the best, but you know how to win games.
True. Hey, that's what it's all about. All right, next up, we got the Steelers surprisingly exposing the Colts in a 27-20 win. Daniel Jones passes for 50 attempts, which is the second most in his career, and it's the most he's had since 2021. All of it to result in an abysmal. He had a 13 QBR in this game. Now that, folks, is a dog shit. He was sacked 5 times, which is as many times as he's been sacked in the last 4 games combined. He's been sacked 14 times this season, 5 of them against the Steelers. They handled their business. This is a Steelers defense. We just talked to a Steelers fan the other week about how terrible they are. It's Mike Tomlin should be getting fired type of terrible defense, right? They also held Jonathan Taylor to only 45 yards, 3.2 yards per carry. It's just his second fewest rush yards over the last 2 seasons. Nobody in their right damn mind would have thought this was coming from that Steelers defense. I can't imagine the amount of money that got lost in Vegas from this performance. What is next?
Number 6, NC State down in Raleigh upset the number 8 team in the country, Georgia Tech, 48-36. And not because the guy that we said should be a Heisman frontrunner, Haynes King, didn't have a great game. That guy accounted for over 500 total yards, going 25 of 35 for 408 yards and 20 carries for 103 yards. 500 yards accounted with one guy. Now, the one thing I did say is Georgia Tech's defense laid an egg because, once again, they couldn't slow down the run from NC State. They had a guy that rushed over 194 yards, damn near almost 200 yards on the ground. So, listen, it wasn't because of King, because he still had a Heisman game, but their defense let him and that offense down. So, hopefully, he can keep getting these wins in the ACC, so we'll see him win a Heisman, because like I said, that's still one of the best games from a quarterback all year long.
That was a Heisman performance. All right, staying in college football, the red-hot Texas Longhorns stay hot, and they take down Vandy, who's been having a great season, struggling of late a little bit to get some wins on the board. But, hey, this roller coaster season for the Longhorns, they started the season #1 ranked. They dropped down to unranked. Now they're back to number 11, and the first college football playoff bracket projection just came out. We'll talk on it later, but they're the first team out of that. But as the season stands now, they got wins over the number 2 team, the number 12 team, and the number 16, and the number 16 team, and they got losses against the number 1 team, the number 5 team, and unranked Florida. All right. Hey, folks, sorry about that. We had some technical difficulties after I started ranting on the top 10 about Texas. But to kind of finish it up with what we got into, Iman went on to go on talking next about how Miami lost a game to Southern Methodist, dropping another game, 26-20. This time with now Mario Cristobal's program and what he's got going there coming under fire is kind of what Iman got into. They lost this game. Penalties were a huge story in this game. About 12 penalties for 96 yards in this game. Really got a lot of folks talking about the officiating and a lot of discussions around that one, but also just kind of around Mario Cristobal and the program he's running there. Things coming stale, predictable play calling, poor game management, and a stubborn refusal just kind of evolved. That said, this was a pretty blatant case of bad officiating here going on in this one. So that was next on the top 10 and 10. I went on then to talk about college basketball season returning with a severely underrated Arizona team coming in to take down the reigning champ Florida Gators on day 1 of college basketball season. Florida becoming the first reigning champ to lose their season opener since Syracuse in 2003. And folks, it's time to get familiar with Koa Pete. Arizona star freshman dropped 30 points in his very first game on 11 of 18 shooting. Look, get familiar with that name. Arizona usually always got at least one big name that they bring to the NCAA tournament in March, and it seems like Pete is very much going to be that guy this season. Let's get into it. Iman gets a little bit more in on a star in the track and field world before he then goes to get cut off. But hey, let me just say, we final up this thought on this track and field world that she is putting up numbers and records that are going to earn her a spot in the Olympics very soon. And she seems like she's going to be able to blow away any and everyone in her path doing so. Then we'll just get into a little bit of talk about some of the things from the top 10, and apologies for the video quality if you're watching. Thanks for following along the rest of the episode.
Last but not least, y'all already know I'm going to hit y'all with something. Number 10, Jane Hedengren, BYU freshman, cross-country freshman, just broke the Big 12 cross-country record in the 6K running. Listen to this. I'm telling you now, Austin. 6K, she ran 18:42. She smashed the Big 12 record. But not only that, Jane is considered the best prep long distance runners ever in high school. You know, she holds the high school national record in the 1600.
First thing from the top 10, one of the only things I really want to get into is, again, hey, I say a lot of shit about J.J. McCarthy. I don't think he's a terrible quarterback. He's still raw. He's got a lot of talent. He doesn't have he hasn't shown enough as an elite arm talent to me to be like, yeah, I would build my offense and build a pass game around that. And I think there's kind of still, he's young. And without McCarthy playing football in those couple of weeks he was out, the Vikings were leading the NFL in pass attempts per game. They were 8th in pass attempts per game. We bring it in the couple quarters, I guess. He's played, 10 quarters or something like that? Not a ton, but, it's been slow. They're dead last in pass attempts per game with him at quarterback. Dead last. They went from 8th to dead last, which, again, he looked okay. He's a winner. He can navigate the Kevin O'Connell offense just well. But, reasonably so. I think O'Connell's been pretty slow to put it all on J.J. McCarthy's shoulders. And that's the right thing to do with a raw quarterback, still learning, still growing. But, but Vikings fans are online showering dude in flowers and praise, which he won a football game against a tough team. But again, he was 14 for 25. Let's not act like that's something to be jumping for joy about. 143 yards and 5.7 pass attempts yards per pass attempt. Again, they wisely scripted that game for it to be short, quick action to defeat the pass rush, which he still got sacked 5 times. That offensive line is not great. And like I said, he looked better, but again, folks, let's be a little bit more slow rolling on the praise for the man. I still have not seen, he's still not produced the numbers and the eye test as a passer.
Oh, wow.
To be, as a passer.
You think?
As a passer? What eye test is he passes as a passer going 14 for 25?
So I say this because, people try to always get me when I talk about Jalen Hurts. The first thing people tell me, oh, he's a winner and he knows how to win the big game and he makes the right play at the right time. But then when they start talking about other guys, it's and listen, I'm telling you, Austin, I tell you all the time, when I'm looking at quarterbacks, I know that kid he was on the left hash. That kid had a 5-step drop where he threw a 15-yard comeback. I'm talking about on the rope. I'm talking about on the rope to Justin Jefferson, or it was number 3, I can't remember. Jordan Addison. And I'm talking about it's only 10 quarterbacks in the NFL that can make those throws. So yes, I don't think Kevin McConnell is actually giving him the reins yet. But far as arm talent, he out of those 14 throws, he made 6 of them where I was like, oh shit, that's a big time throw. So I just think he has to get more comfortable in the system. But I'm just saying, to me, he's a better passer than Jalen Hurts. He's clearly a better winner. He's a better winner than Jalen Hurts from high school, college to now. He's beaten big teams. He's only been playing for 2 years. And like I said, I think he's way more accurate and got a stronger arm than Jalen Hurts. I just think people got to give him some time. But J.J. McCarthy is going to bring a Super Bowl to Minnesota because he's a winner. It's just something in him. Detroit was, come on. Austin. Detroit is a legit top 4 team in the NFL.
Yeah. I mean, look, only J.J. McCarthy and Baker Mayfield and Josh Allen have beaten Detroit in Detroit the last 2 years. I'll give him that. I mean, the guy does not lose in the state of Michigan either. He owns the state of Michigan winning football. I'll give you that. And again, I'm not saying like he's bad. I think let's be a little. I don't think he needs all the credit he's getting right now when you're 14 for 25 and O'Connell is deliberately scripting a short pass game, scripting the run. I mean, it's and again, he's still struggling. He's not like known to be a good downfield thrower. And, there's still a lot of potential with that. We all know he's raw. We all know he's more of a runner and a short game guy, mid game guy who has accuracy problems at times. He came out that way. That was the thing around him coming out. But again, it's not that he played bad. It's that he got so much credit and getting so many flowers for like not passing much. So I'm like, all right, let's just slow it down a little bit. It's not like he's making special downfield throws. It's not like he's making these insane throws in tight windows consistently, like where it's just like, oh my God, how did he make that throw? Like, how did he fit that ball in that tiny little space? Like something you would see like Aaron Rodgers do his entire career. And I'm not sitting here trying to compare him to Aaron Rodgers or any shit like that. It's crazy. I'm just saying, let's slow the roll. The guy's played like 10 quarters.
That's what I'm saying. He got less than 10 games under his belt, Austin. But I'm just saying, you just said the only 2 quarterbacks. Josh Allen was last year's MVP. Mm-hmm. This year, we said the front runner for MVP just a couple weeks ago. Who do we say the front runner was? Baker Mayfield. The only 2 guys to beat Detroit, and that guy did it with only throwing 25 times. Now, granted, yes, he has the best receiver in football, Justin Jefferson. Jordan Addison is pretty good too, but y'all
damn good number 2.
To be able to look the lion in the face, to be able to look the hunted, the predator in the face and not rattle, that has to say a lot about who he's gonna be. I'm telling you, I see it. He's
a competitor.
Big one. He's not running from no wreck. So I can see it. And I just think the more comfortable he gets because he's never really had to throw a lot to win. So I think once he just gets comfortable, I'm telling you, that man going to bring a Super Bowl in Minnesota because he's a winner. I believe it. And I've never said that about anybody.
I hope the hell you're wrong.
Teams.
I'm going to need to cut that. I'm cutting that from the episode. That's bullshit. I don't want. I see. Better be wrong.
I see it. I mean, listen. You can either have him or you can have your guy, who's one of the most gifted throwers in the world, but can't beat Carolina. So I mean,
okay, all right. Well, I guess we're transitioning now, aren't we? I mean, before we transition, actually, so the only thing I'll say about that him and Josh Allen and Baker Mayfield stat is I've never seen a quarterback win a football game by just themselves. I'm a firm believer a win and a loss is not a quarterback stat. I'm one of the people who will die on that hill no matter what, right? I mean, again, I've seen Aaron Rodgers and many MVP quarterbacks play unbelievable football and dominate football games and still lose those football games. There's a lot more than just the quarterback that goes into it. The Vikings defense is not like a slouch or a terrible defense by any stretch of the means, right? Flores is running that show real nice. They got players on that team, on that defense. Like, again, it's a respectable stat. He owns the shit out of Michigan. I'll give him that. The guy's like almost practically, if he's not undefeated in the state of Michigan, he's practically undefeated in the state of Michigan. So I'll give him that. But if we must transition into the Packers now, I'll preface this Packers loss against Carolina, 16-13. And again, just like I know I hate talking about special team with the Packers because it never ends talking special teams with the Packers. It's every year. Special teams is costing us games, and it's already happened numerous times this year. I'm going to give it to the defense. I still love how the defense is playing. If you're giving up 16 points and losing a game, defense ain't your problem in that football game. Micah Parsons was practically shut out, though, which is kind of crazy because that Panthers offensive line got hurt during the game. They kept getting banged up worse and worse and worse. And Packers were not really getting home much to get to Bryce.
He does
Bryce
that though. He's a.
You say this. He goes missing now and then.
He's gonna go missing and you just hope it's not in a big game in the playoffs. But I've been telling you this since you got him. He's gonna have a great game one week, then he's gonna go missing. So I'm not surprised.
I mean, again, like I really like that they brought Xavier McKinney playing into the box a lot more. He's not been like seen at all this season. He's just been hovering the backfield, and you bring him up in the box, he's making plays. Obviously, he had that interception, which at the angle of that interception was crazy to see. You never thought he would make that pick, but I love seeing him get involved. Obviously, Nate Hobb gets hurt. You lose Tucker Kraft for the freaking season.
Yeah, that one hurt me. That one, when I seen that, Austin, I said, "Oh my God, that hurt my heart." Oh. He's having a great season. I mean, he's a big part of that. When I seen that, I was like, man, which I do. I'll later.
That's your best pass catcher right now.
I mean, right now it's like, man, not losing him. So, I mean, and y'all got depth, but once that happened, I was like, shit, I know Austin is mad about that.
And and they also lost Matthew Golden. But hey, that Tucker Kraft injury might never have fucking happened if Matt LaFleur just pulled his damn head out of his ass and just be a reasonable play caller. So I have never seen Packers Twitter unite. Packers Twitter is rarely united. And we have seen them now unite against Matt LaFleur as a play caller. A bunch of people are saying fire Matt LaFleur. I don't think it's fire Matt LaFleur. I think it's you got to bring in someone this offseason to take over play caller reins. I don't think Stenovich as the OC is a better option right now, but there is a long list of guys calling a much better offense. And a great example, Greg Olson just mentioned this week about how Gary Kubiak is calling the Seahawks offense to build around Sam Darnold and build around the pass game. Meanwhile, I'm sitting in here watching Matt LaFleur call an offense as if you didn't just pay Jordan Love top money in the NFL at the time, as if you didn't stockpile the offense with Tucker Kraft, Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, Jaden Reed, Matthew Golden. The list goes fucking on of pass catchers. And everything is just, let's run out of shotgun. Let's pass it sideways. Let's throw beneath the sticks. And the Packers offense right now is nearing their talent season. Granted, they just lost Tucker Kraft. Granted, Matthew Golden just got hurt. They're nearing their talent offense, and this offense is going backwards. They're now a bottom 4 team in points scored in the first half over the last 3 weeks.
Bad. That shouldn't happen with y'all team because, I mean, y'all have so much weapons. I mean, so many.
Yeah. It's so frustrating when it's down in distance, and what are you seeing? Run out of shotgun. It's like he has no idea how to do anything besides run out of shotgun, throw screen passes, and hey, credit to the Panthers. They knew exactly what LaFleur was going to do. And watching the Packers play, it's Ben Solak, I think his name is, he called out how LaFleur against teams, depending on how much the Packers were favored to win by, you can see that the Packers throw less and less and less against teams that they're favored more and more to win by. It's kind of a stat that shows Matt LaFleur's play calling plays down to his opponent. And then the Packers are stuck playing this really, really tight ball game where the slightest mistake is costing them. This has happened all the time. This is not a this year thing. This goes back years.
Did the mob get to him? Because if you're telling me that when y'all are favored to win and he's getting worse as a play caller, maybe the mob then got to him. So maybe he might need to get fired. Hey, listen, I bring this up to you. Would you be against bringing your guy Mike McCarthy back? I mean, he's a great pass game coordinator now. I do give him that. He's like a bump on the log when it comes to motivation. But, I mean, he did win the Super Bowl in Green Bay. He's out there. He needs a job. Who knows? But
yeah, I think I said Gary Kubiak earlier, but Clint Kubiak. And again, if I'm just looking at the Seahawks offense and watching them kick the living shit out of the Commanders. Also, Dan Quinn, go to jail for leaving Jaden Daniels in that game and leaving him.
Fire. He needs to be fired.
To the moon. Fire. To the sun. Get him out.
Fire.
But watching them play that game where Sam Darnold's got folks, against the Commanders, the Seahawks had more passing touchdowns to their second and third string tight end than the Packers have had touchdowns in the first half in the last 3 fucking games. It is so bad. And the biggest that I think that is just a testament to how bad this is. And again, we saw it last year. The play calling does not match the talent. As good as Josh Jacobs is, the run game is not working for the Packers this year. It's not been explosive. It's not picking enough yards per carry. And Matt LaFleur is just running and running and running and running. And he's only running out of shotgun. And he's running up the middle out of shotgun. We very see like these outside zone run plays with him. And now you're seeing that they're a bottom 5 offense in the first half, scoring, like I said, over the last 3 weeks. And over the last 6 games, this stat is what I saw. I got pissed. It got me pissed. 25% of Jordan Love's passes over the last 6 games have been behind the line of scrimmage. Is the second highest in football. Okay. And they are running the ball at the 3rd highest rate in the league they're just not having any type of success to justify doing that. And it just makes absolutely no sense.
Well, maybe it's a Jordan Love thing though, Austin. Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe he's not grasping the offense. Yes, he's super talented.
I just don't think that's the case.
Wow.
I think he's lived behind Rodgers. He had numerous years to sit and learn LaFleur's offense. He had years to learn from Rodgers. This is not his first starting season either, right? And the thing that's crazy is because, again, he's put up good numbers. He's been one of the best middle of the field passers in football, right? He has a 69% completion percentage, 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and 151 passer rating on those intermediate throws. The problem is only 13% of his pass attempts over the last 6 games have been intermediate throws, which is the 3rd lowest in football. So Matt LaFleur is deliberately not calling the plays that he is dominating at. He's not turning the keys over to Jordan Love to just run the offense. And hey, we stockpiled all these weapons, but sorry, we're just going to pass it sideways to Savion Williams, and we're going to run it up the middle. And again, it's just like last year. Your best players go missing. Christian Watson had that one big catch, and then you get anything else? Matthew Golden, I know he got hurt, but was irrelevant. It's just in the offense like last year and this year, you see one guy maybe have a good game, maybe one guy, 2 guys show up, and then it's like no one else exists in the offense. It's like, where are your stars? How are we not getting these guys involved? And again, I just don't. And I think, again, like I was saying, the Packers Twitter is constantly at each other's throat. You know something is bad when everyone is united around the fact that Matt LaFleur's play calling has been so bad. The entire Packers Twitter has united that he needs to hand over play calling duties. The problem is, I don't think Stenovich is a better option. He's an offensive line guy who got transitioned to OC. He helps with the play design for sure. He's a good asset. He's not like Lincoln Riley. He's not like that type of play caller. It's never been his thing. So they unfortunately don't have a guy to give that off to, but Packers Twitter is united that LaFleur is not the guy for the job in the play calling duties.
Jordan Love make a lot of money. To me, in the NFL, the elite quarterbacks actually go to their offensive coordinator and their head coach and say, hey, these are the plays that I do well with. These are the concepts that I do well with, and I want to see them on Sunday. So I think it's going to kind of be up to him to say, listen, this is what I want to run. This is what we need to run. These are the combos I like. This is the type of plays we go against this defense. I think he's got to take some of that control because, Dak and Peyton and Tom. You just go down the list of all the Peyton, Mahomes,
Rodgers.
and just everybody who have a grasp of football, this elite at that level can kind of just take it over. Now one thing I do, my pet peeve is when anytime I ever see an offensive coordinator calling slip screens and like jailbreak wide receiver screens in the NFL, I'm like, the NFL's too fast to run those. They work in high school, maybe even college, because when defenses get too aggressive. But in the NFL, you very seldom see a lot of yards being gained on slip screens to receivers and jailbreak screens to receivers because the NFL is just too fast for that. So I'm with you. When I see that too much, I'm like, why you keep throwing that same damn slip screen? But yeah, go ahead.
It's just extremely it's year 7 of Matt LaFleur. The same mistakes continue to be the same mistakes. To an extent, you are what you are. His time management is not good. The problem now is the Packers have no identity on offense despite stockpiling pass catchers. They have no identity on offense. They have absolutely no killer instinct. Like I said, they're just running out of shotgun and they're passing sideways and passing beneath the sticks all the damn time. Now they can't score in the first half anymore. And you're just at this point where you're seeing teams with less doing so much more. And what LaFleur is calling out here has become so predictable. The Panthers were jumping on everything. They knew exactly what was going to happen. And it was like they were forcing the Packers, they were daring us, do something. Let's see you do something. And what do? And it's like you got 2nd and 1. What is it? 40-yard bomb down the field. It's just a lot of this stuff is just not making sense. It's, again, the Packers offense seems like it's being designed by a whiz kid offensive guru, but then it feels like it's a defensive head coach who's running the show and calling the plays. And again, while Jordan Love was having at this point, everyone's talking about him as a top 5 quarterback. He's got all these numbers. He's doing this when the Packers came into the game against Carolina. They had the 10th fewest passing attempts per game. That's insane. When you got Jordan Love being talked about as a top 5 quarterback in football and putting up very good numbers, of course, he's still got a couple silly throws that, we still got to see those go away. But when we're talking about him as a top 5 quarterback, but bottom 10 in pass attempts per game,
is insane.
That's a problem. And that's what I'm saying. The play calling does not match the talent that the Packers have.
So, Austin, and I know you said you're not calling for his job, but how long does he have? I mean, because let's be clear, you have a window with that defense you got.
Yeah.
Let's be clear. There's windows, Super Bowls. We were talking that early in the year. This is a Super Bowl defense. This is a Super Bowl guy. Hey, Jordan Love, you're going into the years where we got to see some. I mean, how many years can you say Matt LaFleur? What? I mean, how many years do you give him? This year and next year?
He's not gone after this year. Regardless of what happened, he's not gone after this year. That's just I just don't think it'll happen. I think the Packers would essentially have to lose out for that to happen. And that's just not going to happen. I think they're still going to make the playoffs and they're just not going to fire him. Right now, God, I hate the cope of the cope is all the same every year. Oh, well, get it out of the way early than later. And then later they get to the playoffs and don't win a Super Bowl. Yeah. And the team just doesn't get over the hump with Matt LaFleur. So all the cope feels repetitive. It all feels the same. It is all the same year after year after year. It's the same cope, sugar-coated in something different. One year it's the youngest team in football. The other year is, well, they're coming off of Aaron. There's always some reason why the Packers aren't getting over the hump this year. Some of them are more valid than others. This year, like I said, they're nearing their talent ceiling. Now Kraft is gone. That's a huge bummer. Golden hurt. That's a huge bummer. You still got Christian Watson out. You still got Romeo Doubs. Jaden Reed will come back. You still got, we're going to see what Luke Musgrave is made of. I don't think they have a lot of confidence in Luke Musgrave. It feels like he did get a bigger percent of target share once Kraft went down. And people forget Luke Musgrave is wickedly talented.
Yeah, pretty good.
Freakishly talented. He's not the yards after catch guy like Tucker Kraft, but he was drafted higher than Kraft. People kind of saw him with a higher ceiling. But with LaFleur, my dream scenario with Matt LaFleur and the Packers offense is, I don't know exactly what you do with Stenavich as your OC. Maybe he gets a job somewhere else this offseason. I want the Packers to go find themselves a killer play caller out of college or someone who's up and coming in the NFL who's looking for, a next step type of thing, and get him in as the OC to call the plays. We just saw Kevin Stefanski for the second time in 2 years hand off play calling duties because it's just not working. He took it back over. It's not working. He owns that. There's a little bit of fucking accountability there. Whereas Matt LaFleur, again, we just don't have a guy to take it over. So I think how this plays out for the rest of the year is Matt LaFleur is going to call the offense for the Packers the rest of the season. Who knows how it'll go. I would love to see them bring in a guy who, if, LaFleur is going to be back next year, I want them to bring in a guy who they could be like, you know what, if things look ugly again next year, we got a guy in waiting who we can hand out play calling duties to, see how it goes. And I think with Ed Policy being in the building on a takeover for Mark Murphy, I think he's coming in with a bit of a different attitude. He came in, he didn't guarantee anything about Brian Gutekunst, the GM, or Matt LaFleur. He made no guarantees. Probably smart. Why play your cards? Keep close to the best. But I think again,
if LaFleur don't get out of the first round this year, he's fired. And I'm telling you, and he got 2 years to get to that NFC Championship game. His team is too loaded, Austin. I'm telling you now. They spent the money in the picks for Micah Parsons. I gave the money to Jordan Love. If he gets kicked out of the first round this year, which he should, I just don't think that team is way too talented to be a first round go. But if he gets kicked out the first round or don't make the NFC Championship game in these next 2 years, y'all need to find a new coach. I'm telling you.
It's coming up to the point. It's getting there, and that there's no doubt, because again, year 7, if you still can't get over the hump, and he's had enough excuses and enough reasons to get bailed out where a couple years it's been like, well, next year's the year. Next year's the year. When we beat the Cowboys in the playoffs, well, next year's the year. Well, it wasn't. This year's supposed to be the year. Well, now we'll, there's still a winning football team. That defense, despite the fact that the cornerbacks have not played well, it's still looking really good and holding up really strong. It's still been a really good defense, but the offense is just not carrying its weight. And the offense on paper looks like it's got so much potential. And another thing that's not working is the offensive line has, surprisingly not been as good. And that is usually a Packers specialty. And the offensive line is not exactly holding its weight. Jordan Love is avoiding a lot of sacks, making a lot of throws. He's not been that great under pressure this year. He's been as good as it gets in a clean pocket. You don't want Jordan Love in a clean pocket, I promise you. but the Packers are kind of letting him get pressured a bit too much this year, and it's not going great when he is. So I don't know. I want someone who can come in this offseason, be the potential next play caller, and should they decide to fire LaFleur next season, they will never do it midseason. It's just not. They're just not going to fire him midseason. He's going to at least go through next year, unless it's terrible. I want someone who, after he's gone, if it comes to that they got a guy lined up who is now familiar with the team, the roster, the talent, and can step in as the play caller. That's my ideal scenario. They got to go find someone. Stenovich is not that guy. That's who you need to add this offseason, and figure it out with Stenovich, and maybe he just, again, gets a job somewhere else. I don't know. You got anything to say about the Ravens? You kicking the absolute hell out of the Dolphins?
Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, and I'm not going to get too overhyped, but if our defense can play like that, because Lamar damn near had a perfect QBR at some point during that game. If our defense can play like that, and we just added a few pieces, we let Jair go because it just wasn't working out. But
play 2 games.
Yeah, if we can play like that, Austin, listen to me. This is gonna be our year, because clearly, like I told you about the Bills, they're gonna beat Kansas City in a regular season. But to me, both of those teams are there to get got because their offenses aren't as prolific as they've been in the past. So I'm figuring if our defense can just keep the game in the 20s, the low 20s, what Lamar did against the Dolphins, which granted, the Dolphins is not no world beaters. But it is an NFL team. They get paid like everybody else. But just Lamar, once he calmed down, because the first drive he threw like that out to the ground, I'm like, all right, bro, get warmed up and come on. But he's running less, but he's still just on point. I don't want to jinx this too early, but listen, I'm telling you right now, it's Super Bowl or die for him and John, and I'm giving him the next 2 years. It's over for Lamar and the fan base if he cannot bring us a Super Bowl appearance in the next 2 years. So no, I'm not overreacting. I'm just saying it's either this year or next year, or folks gonna be off that goddamn Lamar train. He's got to get it done. Because
what would you? I can only imagine the trade package for Lamar would be generational to rebuild. I mean, do you think they would keep him around and just move off Harbaugh and just get a new coach and keep Lamar?
Yeah, I think they will move off Harbaugh first. But to me, I will move off Lamar, because clearly
at the same time.
Yeah, because no, if I wouldn't get rid of the coach, I would get rid of the quarterback, because John doesn't call offense anything. He doesn't control what Lamar do or don't do. So I mean, I wouldn't. I think John Harbaugh does a great job is getting the team and everybody ready to play, the culture, all of that. That matters. But I mean, in the next 2 years, is I mean, look at Dallas. They just been sitting waiting for Dak after year. They keep saying, "Oh, maybe next year, maybe next year." I'm not that fan with Baltimore. And maybe Lamar needs to be somewhere in the NFC, because I mean he kicks the NFC ass. So, but 2 years, we need to get one in the draft.
Well, I mean, we can kind of keep on it, right? I mean, a couple names there you just mentioned that, we got in our trade deadline winners and losers, the Ravens being one of them, the Cowboys being one of them. So, I mean, why don't we crack into the trade deadline winners and losers now that it is officially come and gone? And, we were just talking about the Ravens. So, let's talk about the Ravens a little bit on this one, right? They're the only team in that very mid AFC North to make a move. Even if it was just Draymond Jones, like I said, he's had a really nice October. He's been getting to the quarterback, doing some nice things. Y'all needed some defensive line help. And like y'all been saying, they're climbing back in the division now that they're back in it. Granted, the Steelers just laid hammer on the Colts, and that doesn't help. But the Ravens are, again, they got their stride back on offense, a little bit of swagger back on offense. The defense, getting some get-right games here going. And, look, that's going to be a division where they could probably win with 9 wins perhaps. So to go get someone to help fill a little bit of gap while no one else did anything in that division, besides the Bengals actually got rid of Logan Wilson and now are stuck with 2 of the worst middle linebackers you could ask for to just ensure that defense continues to suck out loud. That's like really the only other move that was happening in the AFC North. So while everyone stayed the same and stayed very mid, if not bad, the Ravens at least went out and did something. So for me, that they're one of the winners from the deadline.
I don't know. I don't know.
I mean,
listen,
you just got to win the division, get the playoffs.
Yeah, but I know. But to know the Jets was letting go of Sauce Gardner, I would have rather us say, "Hey, listen, whatever they want, let's send." We haven't got a top first round pick in years. We've been picking at 30 for the. So if it was only 2 first rounders, because we need a shutdown corner. Kyle Hamilton is a good safety, but we need a good shutdown corner. To me, was more important than the D lineman, because I think with scheme, with Roquan Smith back and just Cal Van Noy back and scheme with blitzing and being aggressive, you can get some pressure on the quarterback. But it's not going to mean anything if Humphrey is barbecue freaking chicken every week. Like Wiggins, we just don't have corners to me that we can say, hey, take away. Because when we get in the playoffs, we're going to have to take away Rice. We're going to have to take away even Shakir was looking good for Buffalo. In Indianapolis, we got guys in the AFC that we need to be taken away. And I was just sad that if the Jets were going to let him go in the AFC, why wouldn't we go get him? Which
true.
I mean,
it's fair. I'm just looking at it in the perspective of like, you just got to make the playoffs.
For sure.
And to me, when I see that, it's like, well, at least the Ravens did something. I mean, it wasn't a big move, but they did something and got a guy who's kind of feeling himself and playing some damn good football right now to come in and help you where you're kind of lacking and bolster that pass rush. And maybe the strategy is like, well, let's just get to the damn quarterback and let our cornerbacks be good, because we got a lot of pressure, and we can get coverage, like not coverage sacks. We can just, our cornerbacks are getting bailed out because the pass rush is getting home and getting pressure and stuff like that. Maybe that's what they want to do. So the fact that no one else in that division did anything and everyone is very mid, if not bad, the Ravens has made a move to at least help them at least win the division. That's all they need to do. They just need to win the division.
Which I hope. Yes, which I hope. And I'm going to tell you, the biggest loser, Austin, is the Dallas Cowboy fans, man. Jerry does this to them every. I don't know why. They're the biggest losers because they let Jerry get them. All he's trying to do is trying to make y'all think that he cares. One game too short. If you were going to make these fucking trades, or you were going to do some things to improve your team, you could have did it. But see, he's a master manipulator. He knew after that loss, I had to do something so they can think we're still going to have a chance. Man, the Cowboys season is fucking over. There's no need to bring Quinnen Williams. And you brought a linebacker who was on a defense that's worse than your defense, who wasn't even playing that much in Cincinnati because they were benching him. I'm telling you, that's the biggest loss. The fans.
I mean, you got to see through it. Let's see. How did the Micah Parsons trade fully play out for the Cowboys? They gave up Micah Parsons, Maisie Smith. Is it Maisie or Mozzie? Mozzie Smith. And they essentially gave up Parsons, Smith, and a 2026 second-round pick, and acquired Quinnen Williams, 30-year-old Kenny Clark for 1 or 2 seasons, and a 2026 first-round pick. Dude, don't love that.
It doesn't make sense. I'm telling you, it does not make sense. And don't get me wrong, Quinnen Williams is a hell of a football player. But come on, Dallas. Okay. I feel bad for him. I really do feel bad for, because it's too late. They don't. The season's over. They're done.
Yeah, and they tried to sugarcoat it in, I initially had them as a winner. I can see it in the sense of like, as the fans being big losers. For the Cowboys' sake, is like they at least, if they at least ended up with Quinnen Williams, they at least ended up with 1 extra first round pick. And I think what they're doing here is like, you knew if you signed Parsons, you had nothing. That roster was going to have to be a bunch of JV dudes. You would have not been able to do anything in terms of signing anyone. And so now at least like they do have more money to freed up to pay other people's, like the Jake Fergusons of the world. So I think it was inevitable that they were going to have to move Parsons, given like who they decided to pay, which I think they made a couple mistakes, or at least a mistake. But the way that Parsons trade played out for them, like we just listed off, I would not take what the Cowboys got at the end of the day for that Parsons deal.
No way.
For what they gave up. Hell no. Hell no.
Generation.
2 defensive tackles and a first-round pick for a generational pass rusher.
I mean, generational pass rusher. And don't get me wrong, I think Clark and Quentin Williams in the inside will help.
It's nice.
The run.
Clark's short-term.
Because it will help the run because their linebackers are bad. But also, Austin, are you looking at those DBs? That is the worst. I mean, Deron Bland was just all-pro a few years ago. Marvin Harrison Jr. had a fucking field day with him this week. So it's like you did something, but come on, Jared, y'all are losers. So I mean,
it was sugar-coated.
Yeah. Indianapolis is looking good though. I can't say that though. Sauce Gardner.
Yeah. Hey, Colts are a big winner. We got to say the Colts are a big winner. They're a very good team. Granted, they just had the loss. Colts are a big winner here, right? They just lost, but they added Sauce Gardner. Say what you will about his season this year. He's still got like insane potential to end up as one of the all-time cornerbacks. And the Colts, I never thought I would say this. There's an NFL team going all in and building around Daniel Jones. Who would have thought you would be saying that to give up 2 first-round picks to build around Daniel Jones is, again, statement I never thought I'd have to make, but the Colts are going all in on that offensive line, on Jonathan Taylor, on Daniel Jones, Michael Pittman, Downs at the slot. They gave up A.D. Mitchell, whatever. That was like way back. You know he's got potential. He was nice at Texas. But, I mean, now that defense hasn't been bad, they definitely need a corner help, and they went and did it. And they said, why not us? Hey, why not us? We're having the year. We don't know if we're ever going to get this again. But I respect the Colts' moves. I love that they decided to go really aggressive with that one. And so I think they got to be a big winner. What about the Jets? I have them as a winner. Do you have the Jets as a winner or a loser here for kind of off-selling?
Now, I have them as a loser if they don't keep Aaron Glenn because I see what they're doing. Let's get some picks in. Let's free up some money. We're going to give him a couple years to build in the draft. Let's draft some good guys, some winners. Let's get us a franchise quarterback. Yes, that's a win because they know this team is not a guy or two away. You need a couple years. Now, I do say if you don't give him 2 to 3 years, then what the fuck did you do all this for? I mean,
and I mean, the only losers from the Jets are Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall. Breece Hall's name's already getting floated. They keep him there. He's stuck there now. Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall's talent is just going to get completely wasted in a team that's not going to win. One of them the team doesn't even seem to want. Breece Hall will probably get packaged up or traded or something in coming time. We'll see. But now, like you said, the Jets for 2026, right? So in 2026, the Jets have 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, and in 2027, they have 3 first-round picks. So there's a lot of things that they can do with that. You know, however they decide to do it, they got a lot of things they can do with it. And look, good for them for acknowledging this season's cooked. No matter what we win, we are getting that first pick in the draft, it seems like. And why not go full tank mode? So I respect them that they stock the F up on those draft picks, acknowledge that their season's cooked, they're done, barbecue chicken, and let's build for the future.
They better draft a quarterback, though. If they don't draft a quarterback, then why keep Breece Hall and why keep Garrett Wilson? They have to draft a quarterback this year, though.
It's great pieces to build around, but you got that feeling like Breece isn't going to want to stay there unless he gets insane money. And you got that feeling there's already some, we were open to moving him if someone was going to take him. So it doesn't feel like they're even committed to Breece Hall. And so it seems like they're going to need a new running back too. And, like we said, Michael Carter, he got kind of a bad shake, it felt like there because he was a good runner. They let him go. But they do have Braylon Allen who looked really good too before his injury. So I think the Jets were at least a winner for acknowledging that they're fucked and, hey, we had to do something. Another big winner. Got to acknowledge the Seahawks / Sam Darnold, whichever one you want to pick. The Seahawks already a top passing offense in football. They're having some insane downfield success, almost like unsustainable kind of downfield success. But they went out then and got Rashid Shaheed. It's one of the best guys you can get to help you with downfield plays and just more, take the top off and deep threat type of stuff. So it wasn't really it was kind of an uninspiring wide receiver core that they got outside of Jackson Smith and Jigman. I'm a big Torrey Horton fan.
Yeah.
He's just young. He's done some nice things, but
he's coming along.
He could, I think, he would have gone way higher in the draft if not for injuries because he's a really nice player. Sure. He's really nice. Cooper Kupp, he is it's you can't really.
You're
not going to get a ton. Yeah, you're not going to get a ton out of him at this age. He's hurt right now, and granted, he's definitely helping these young cats too. But it's not really the most inspiring wide receiver room, as you can tell by how often they're leaning into They're leaning into their 3 tight ends a lot out there. So going out and get him to add to that pass offense, as good as it's been, man, that's going to be that's good for the Seahawks. Bad for everyone else in that division, though.
Yeah, that division is tough, though. I'm not going to lie to you because Seattle looked good, and people underrate organization coaching. I mean, Sam Darnold is looking, and I know we say this about everybody, but he's looking like an MVP guy. And I'm kind of glad that he's there and he's lighting it up. And like you said, so I've never really laid my eyes on Jackson Smith and Jigba for real. But to see him play this week, he's top 5. And I mean, because that's all they got. So it's knowing that that's all they got, and you're going to game plan to get him out the game, and he still be able to just take over a game. I mean, he is legit. And if he was a little bit bigger, he would be literally unstoppable. But
he's a freak. He's another one of those. He's another one of those guys where, again, I hate the amount of stock that gets put into the combine sometimes. It's a useful event, but I can't stand the amount of stock that gets put into what a guy does in shorts compared to what he does on the field, because his field play, I just saw a chart of it today. The speeds he's achieving on the field wasn't like, you would not have guessed he was like that was his speeds if you just watched the combine and just took his combine numbers. He's one of those guys where he plays so much faster than the combine numbers tell you. Like Bucky Irving. Bucky Irving's another guy. He had a terrible combine. Oh yeah, and it tanked his draft stock. But if you watch him just play football, it's like, well, no one can tackle this guy. He's in the end zone and he's breaking every freaking tackle. He's got the most yards after contact. He's incredible. And he goes to the NFL, and what do you get? You get more of what you saw on film, not what you saw at the combine. And JSN was kind of one of those guys for me too. So if you want to stick in that division, though, a team I think was a big loser coming out of this one was the 49ers. They went and got nobody. They're injured up and down that entire team. They've been winning at seemingly kind of, when you think of the injuries and how many there have been, the winning kind of seems unsustainable at that clip, given that they have so many long-term injuries and so many guys keep just hitting the shelf now. And look, if they sustain more injuries, right, especially with the Seahawks beefing up, especially with the Rams playing incredible football, like, it feels like they need to go do something. Just get something, some extra depth somewhere. You're too banged up to do absolutely nothing. Expect like, yeah, this will probably keep going great. Like, you guys are literally, I don't know. I think the 49ers hit themselves big by not getting anything given the circumstance of where their roster's at, all the injuries. They are, they got a weird Mac Jones, Brock Purdy thing at quarterback now that they're going to have to try to balance, and Kyle Shanahan's going to have to figure that whole situation out. But I don't know. I feel like they were big losers by doing nothing, especially when the Seahawks don't get Shaheed.
And I thought they should have got somebody, but one thing about Kyle Shanahan, he has like this arrogant cockiness to him, which I like. I like as a coach to understand, hey, listen, I'm been out coaching people all year. I've been out coaching people for the past 5 years. I've been winning with Brock Purdy. I can win with Mac Jones. I can win with Iman. I can win with Austin if they get on this team, because I can coach. And I do think that's undervalued in the NFL's coaching. So I'm with you. I thought they should have brought in, especially like I said, if you knew the Jets were letting Quentin Williams go, that you knew some guys you need a little help on that D-line, but I think Kyle Shanahan just understands, man, I can out-coach most of these coaches. So we just going to ride it out and go from there.
Okay. That only goes so far until you start playing against really good teams with really good coaching in the playoffs, and they actually got starters, and you're playing with guys who've maybe played a couple games, or you're just still banging the hell up. I mean, they've been suffering so many injuries yeah. It's over these last couple of years. It's insane. Someone I got as my last loser from the deadline, even though they just beat the Chiefs, is the Bills. Right? They're still, everyone was saying they need to get another pass catcher, something that they can help stretch the field a little bit. They didn't get, Rashid Shaheed was a big target name for them. Chris Olave, even Jacoby Myers was another name the fans were clamoring for something. And we all know they got bad safety play. And safeties generally aren't the type of players that are getting tossed around in the trade deadline, especially not like the best ones. Yeah. So there's only so much you could do there. The defense has still not been that good this season, and they did nothing to change that. Joey Bosa's had some, resurgent moments, but as long as the safeties are what they are, and the defense hasn't been that great, and people are already asking for Bobby Babbage to not be the play caller on defense anymore, if they want to get over that Chiefs hump, in the playoffs. And again, I'm an outsider perspective, but it seems like a lot of sentiment among the Bills fans is the same. Is like this team doesn't feel as well equipped or coached as in the past years. And again, McDermott, fine, but it doesn't feel like they have that same mojo and swagger as in past years, to where making no moves at the deadline makes the most sense in order to get over that Chiefs hump in the playoffs, because it's coming. Yeah. Right. Everyone watched that game. 35 million people watched that game because we know what that game is. So it feels like that Josh Allen Super Bowl window, I don't know how much longer it's going to be open at this point.
Right here. Right here.
How many more years? It's like Green Bay. How many more years do you need to not get over the hump before that window's closed?
Two. He got two. And I respect, they're trying to stay encouraged with Keon Coleman, and because Steve Smith been getting on him just like he's not the guy. But one thing coaches got to be able to see: if you're not it, you're not it. Let's just admit we drafted him in the first round. He's not the guy. Let's go get somebody, because he's just not it. So it's respectable that they're trying to still say, hey, we're going to give you some time to keep developing. But like you said, Josh Allen doesn't have forever. He needs one more piece, because Dalton Kincaid played pretty well.
I like him.
Chief and Shakur is good, but you need one more. And like I said, they thought Keon Coleman was going to be that guy, which he was terrible at the combine. He ran like a 4.6, which kind of threw me off because he wasn't super dominant at Florida State. So I didn't kind of understand that pick.
I liked watching him at Florida State.
I don't like big, slow guys. I got the NFL's too fast for big, slow guys.
That's fair. I mean, I have a tweet out there somewhere, but I was watching a lot of Florida State, and when him and Trey Benson were there, and I was like, man, these boys are fun to watch. I mean, Keon he was catching everything. He won't beat nobody, but it seemed like he caught every contested catch. And I was like, God,
you got to separate in the NFL, though.
Yes.
That's one thing. Even if you don't run fast at the combine in the 40, you got to be able to get out of your breaks fast, have quick lateral movement. He doesn't separate, and that's a big deal in the NFL.
Yep. And so they didn't get that field stretcher. Shakir is great for short stuff, and he can turn a small play into something big. That's a great weapon to have. But when Keon Coleman is not separating, he's certainly not your separator downfield, and you don't got that guy who can take the top off of a defense like a Christian Watson, like a Rashid Shaheed perhaps, like it hinders what your offense can do. It kind of caps you. It doesn't – less stuff opens up on the underneath stuff. And you got Josh freaking Allen, man. You got one of the best, most talented arms to ever come in the game with he can sling that thing across the whole field. He can throw that thing a million miles. And you got no one for him to really do it to. So them not doing anything to bolster that offense, they still got a lot of talent. It seems like that's a team that, with Josh Allen and what they do got, they could still drop 40 on you. The defense, there is going to have to start pulling a bit more weight, though, that's for sure. And they didn't do anything there. So I think the Bills made a costly mistake to not do anything to kind of get over the hump this year.
For sure.
And then, of course, you got the last big losers of this trade deadline is the Miami Dolphins, and all those poor Dolphins fans out there. Like we said, Jalen Phillips, really the only move they're making. Their season is effectively over. Their future is incredibly uncertain from a coaching perspective, from a quarterback's perspective, from a roster perspective. They would have been smart to pile up on draft picks mid-season while their value is highest to all these other teams who are looking to make a move, looking to make an in-season acquisition to maybe put them over the top, get on track. But they end up keeping Minkah Fitzpatrick. They keep Jalen Waddle because their price is way too high per some other teams that were kind of in on the mix on them. And they keep Bradley Chubb, all three guys who were names that were on the block, and potentially even A-Chain, which was an alleged rumor for some teams. Who knows if he was as serious of one, but the Dolphins sit back and kind of just sit on their hands, do nothing, acquire nothing. Draft picks stay the same for the most part. They get a little bit out of the Eagles for Phillips, but otherwise, just for this team to stay put doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Again, they stay put if they're feeling like, we're going to be competitive. We can do something with the guys we have in here. But I don't think anyone in their right mind is really even thinking that. But at the same point, like, this is a team that is comfortable and happy with running the show with Mike McDaniels there doing his thing, whatever that is, running down the sidelines in capri pants. And we'll see how that strategy works out for them. But for them to just sit on their hands and essentially do nothing this trade deadline when there was value to be had, moves to be made, picks to be acquired, while the value is going to be highest, for them to do really nothing is extremely surprising. And yeah, those poor Dolphins fans, man, and they're just gonna have to watch another. The rest of the season is useless to them. They're not gonna be competitive. Even if they are, let's be honest, they're not making the playoffs. There's just no chance. Should some act of God happen to make the playoffs, this team's not doing anything with it. So, yeah, feel for the Dolphins fans, but definitely another losing squad from this trade deadline. Hey, why don't we wrap it up? Because the first college football bracket projection came out. We got to react to it a little bit. So let's see what we got here. Let's see. We'll go through it. Number 1 is Ohio State. Number 2, Indiana. Number 3, Texas A&M. Number 4, Alabama. Number 5, we got Georgia. Number 6, you got, oh shit, who's number 6? Number 6 is Ole Miss. Number 7 is BYU. Number 8, Texas Tech. 9 is Oregon. 10, Notre Dame. 11, Virginia. And 12, Memphis. The first 2 out are Texas and Oklahoma. Iman, what are your thoughts?
All right, enough of this shit, college football. I'm going to tell you this right now. Nobody wants to fucking see Memphis in the college football. There's nobody in the country who looks at Memphis, say they're better than Texas, say they're better than USC. No, like, enough of this shit, y'all. I don't want to see BYU, and I get it. You have to have parity for the group of 5. They say the group of 4, so it's Power 4 and then the group of 4, where you got to let the Big 12 in, and you got to let Memphis. Listen, I'm still not a big believer of Indiana because we seen them do this last year, and in the first round last year, what happened? They got their ass, kicked.
Still choking.
Kicked. So let's start really saying that the Big Ten and the SEC mid-level teams are better. I'd rather see Vanderbilt and Diego Pavia in the playoffs than Memphis. Because, listen, he did everything he needed to do even to try to come back. To me, that's just – I want to see exciting games, teams that can fight to even get back in the game. I don't want to see UVA. The ACC hasn't been a good fucking conference since Trevor Lawrence. Like in Deshaun Watson, Clemson days, UVA hasn't played anybody. They're going to get the dog shit beat out of them. I mean,
Memphis isn't even first in the American Conference. Navy is.
Yeah, man.
Like, how the hell does Memphis get it? I know they've been ranked this season. They kind of been hanging around the 25 spot, but they're not even first in their own conference. Say what you will about will they beat this team? You're not the only. They're not the only team with good wins this season either. So I don't know how they sneak into it. And I'm almost on like the other end of it. On BYU is like they're having a really, really good season. Can they hang with? Like, look, if BYU would have seen Notre Dame in that first round, I think Notre Dame's going to kick the shit out of BYU. If I'm totally honest.
Dog them.
And Notre Dame's had their problems, but like I'm still sitting here like. Notre Dame might still end up in the championship, though.
Yeah.
So
we run and we play good defense, and BYU is
well coached
to stand on the field. We got too many players. BYU is not recruiting the guys. So I don't want to see that shit, Austin. I just don't. I don't want to see a first round full of 50-7 and 62-7. I don't want to do that. This is the college football playoffs.
Yeah, and Georgia would be lined up with Memphis if it lined up like this. Georgia could play the damn backups and win that game.
Come on, man.
That would just be terrible. I mean, Ole Miss, Virginia would be the matchup there. That would be another dog walking. Like that's just not. That's just. I don't know why Virginia's in that. To be honest, Louisville. Shit, if we're playing this game, get Louisville in there. I mean, I don't. Miami's they've fallen off entirely. Obviously, now Georgia Tech, they got their first loss. But Georgia Tech,
to me, is a better goal
how the hell is Virginia?
UVA. Listen.
Yeah. You got a Heisman candidate, Georgia Tech. They were just undefeated, number 7 in the nation. How in the shit would Virginia be in this over them? I mean, Georgia Tech with Haynes King playing is a better football game against Ole Miss than whatever the hell Virginia could put out on the field.
For sure. And, I guess they say some of these people that's in that room for the college football playoff, like politicians and stuff. So eye test doesn't go there. And I get it. They want parity, but no, anybody who likes seeing good games don't give a fuck about parity. I'll watch Alabama versus Georgia every time if it's going to be a good game. I don't really care how many times they play. I'll watch Ole Miss against Vanderbilt again if it's going to be a good game. To me, I'm with you. Georgia Tech, Vanderbilt should be in the college because we've seen them play against teams that's there, and they went toe-to-toe. Texas. You cannot look at Texas. And I do want to give Archie Manning his credit. He's been getting better and better every week. But if they win out, you can't tell me they don't look better than a fucking BYU, a UVA, a Memphis. And like I said, I'm still not a believer in Indiana. I'm going to be honest. I got to see them play.
I mean, I know Alabama started slow, but you can't discount the wins they've had this season. And for them to be 4, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like Alabama probably is, I mean, if Alabama and Indiana squared up tomorrow.
I'm going Alabama 9 out of 10 times, period.
Yeah, me too. I think so too. I just think so too. As good as Indiana, as well coached as they look, as good of quarterback play as they've gotten from Mendoza, it just looked like a complete football team a lot of times. It's like something about it. Maybe just because they're so fresh to this being good thing that you just still is like, I don't know if I'm ready to buy in as good as they look, and I should be buying in, but then I want to see you against Alabama, and then I'm not sure I can buy in anymore. But like, I don't know. So there's Alabama, Ohio State it'd be Alabama would go up then against the winner of the Georgia Memphis. Ohio State would see the winner of Oregon, Texas Tech. Indiana would see the winner of BYU, Notre Dame, and Texas A&M would see the winner of Virginia and Ole Miss. Right. I feel like Alabama should be in that spot of the Texas A&M spot at number 3, not number 4. They're just quality of wins are just better. Superior quality of wins.
Way better. So we'll see.
But
we'll see.
It's interesting. There's more good games to wrap up the season, but that is the end of our episode today. Remember to go get your hat from Huega House. Use code Sideliner Sports, SIDELINR Sports for your 15% off. Make sure to pop over to the website to check out your favorite articles from your favorite team. See what's popping in the other teams in the divisions or in the division with the team that you hate. Go show our writers a little bit of love. Go find us everywhere you watch your social media, doom scrolling and content at Sideliner Sports. Of course, you can find us Chalk Talk Social on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple, all the good stuff. We will be back regularly programmed scheduling again on Friday. We will see you then. Have a good rest of your week.